All right. Well, I'm Different Says.
And I'm Normal Rockwell. And on behalf of the Sorta Weird Artist Guild,
This is Free Game. We're joined here today by Owltree. He's a producer from Michigan that we're both big fans of. Thanks for coming in today.
Oh, I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you so much.
First, we're going to let you in on some updates on the Guild. If you missed the last episode of Free Game with Justin Morales, do yourself a favor and give it a watch. We also have a release coming up in the next 2 weeks for one of our good friends, DSC Mythos. It's a single called Oh Well. So, for everyone watching, all links mentioned in the video should be able to be found in the description down below.
softball
Oh,
question, Dustin.
all right.
When did you start making beats?
I only started making beats maybe like 6 years ago, maybe 5.5 years ago at this
Okay.
point.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
And how old would you have been? I have no idea when you were born, man. How old would you have been?
I was born in '86.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean like my earliest 30s. My
Wow.
primary background was in like long form prose writing, like fiction. So
Okay.
I pretty much did that from the age of like 15 to, whatever, mid 30s or so, still to like this day. But
Hell yeah.
yeah,
okay, so as someone who's listened to, I don't even want to say like most of what you put out because you're so prolific, but born in 86, that's got to be where the 86 for life comes from, right?
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
mean,
most
like
definitely.
not where it comes from, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the little like yeah, the little tag in there for it. Yeah, my way of
Nice,
throwing
nice.
it in.
Uh, I'm an 81 kid here, and like Dave said, he's what, 78?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like still in my 30s too. I was. Yeah. Don't do the math.
Yeah, 30s. Uh, all right. So you started 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
And how? Like, what was the impetus behind that?
really was because I was rapping previously to that, kind of like doing. I got sick of like not sick of, but I got kind of bored with doing like literary readings, like when I would be reading like excerpts. So I started like getting into more like rapping, which I'd always been into hip hop since for forever. And then from there, like just using other people's beats, I just couldn't find anything I wanted to rap on. It was really just out of necessity. And then being a fan of people like Conductor as well, stumbling onto him, but that came way later. But yeah, really just out of necessity. I got sick of rapping on other people's shit and just wanted to like see if I could do it myself. And my mom was uh, like a audio engineer, so I always thought it would be kind of fun to mess around with that stuff anyway.
We ask this question a lot, but what's a typical day look like for you?
Oh man. Well, lately it's so I've worked primarily like as far as professionally in like Alzheimer's research and care. But at the present time, I assist and manage a group home. So from whatever 2 to 10 or so, I'm there managing like 6 individuals, kind of assisting with their daily living,
Mm.
and then from 10 to 3, essentially. So yeah, this is like the meat of my evening anyway. Pause.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
that shit out. Um, is me working, and I again I just happen to kind of work, rapid or whatever, just because I have a certain window of time as well. I've always worked at least 2 jobs, and like trying to produce, what I produce and you know try to stay busy as possible with my time. But yeah, that's 45 to 50 hours of my week, and then the rest of it is literally just sitting where I am now with the
Yeah.
leopards over my shoulder, just working on shit. That's it.
And you put out a lot of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's good quality. So like I've been watching your Bandcamp. I've tried to flip through like when Dave first hit me off to your music.
Yeah.
Like what am I going to start with? And I didn't even know. I just clicked on one and then hit play, and I was like, oh, that's dope. All right, flip
The
through. There's like
the
an
word you kept
endless
using was
supply of
prolific.
music. Yeah.
Yeah, you were
Um,
like, yo, it's really good. He's really prolific, right? And it's like,
I
yeah, like
appreciate
it's
it.
almost like you can make like the Owltree radio station. You know what I mean? And just
So,
kind of like,
so
Man.
those like EPs, are they like just a night session where you've gone through and you blasted out a bunch of tracks, or is it a few days? Does it change up or?
Oh yeah, sometimes it changes up, but I would say primarily it's an evening session. Yeah, it's just something that came out kind of like, in one evening of like maybe a couple hours or an hour sometimes. You just kind of happen to either find a great record or a sample that you can, maybe stretch out into four songs within itself. So it's just kind of really just sitting there and listening and kind of just trying to shape whatever's coming out anyway. And yeah, there was definitely a period of time for sure where I had like some land and just time and was just cranking shit out like in a little room for months and months. But yeah, speaking of Ma, she passed like a year ago as of like a few days ago. And then about a week before that, my brother had passed last year, and he was kind of primarily the reason I kind of got into rapping, sort of because I
mm,
was using that as a instance to like assist in helping him read because he had autism. So we would kind of
mm.
use like Lil Wayne songs and shit as like a little like like he liked rap, so it was like a stimulus, kind of trying to find something to relate to.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Um, so yeah.
That's dope, man. Are there some other artists you'd want to shout out as kind of helping shine a
Oh,
light?
oh my God, most definitely Van Dyke Parks, Song Cycle, his record. He assisted in the co-writing of Pet Sounds. Did a lot of
Mm,
work with Brian Wilson. He
wow.
also did a lot of work with Big Chestnut and Godspeed You Black Emperor.
Yeah.
At the time when his album Song Cycle came out in like 1968, maybe or something, it was like the most expensive record ever produced, and it was just him by himself, essentially, just conducting everything. And so yeah, he's definitely one. Thelonious Monk is another
Sure.
one for sure. Um, yeah, just his ability and just watching him and yeah, making sense. Um, yeah, hip hop wise, honestly, it was Quiet Storm Part Two. Or no, sorry, Shook One's Part Two, and then Quiet
Okay.
Storm.
Okay.
Those two that I remember hearing before I even really knew what rap was or what hip hop was. It was just hearing those songs and essentially just like seeing a movie as you're listening to them. So
Yeah.
that kind of like changed my view on really just music in general. And then hearing honestly Smokey Robinson's Quiet Storm, like that record itself,
Mm,
it sounds like a fucking quiet storm, like a rainy day. So just making those
right.
associations like with feelings and sounds throughout time has been interesting. I've worked at, one of those, geeky kids who worked at a bunch of record stores and went through their jazz phase and all that shit. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So like it's just
yeah.
appreciating, you know, things along the way. And then meeting people like Conductor for sure, like as far as mentorship and being inspired by them and, him reminding me and telling me like just to make sure I continue to have fun. When he'll like, when he'll see all my output and shit, and he'll be like, yo, just make sure you're having fun and,
Hell
not
yeah.
just getting lost in the work, kind of thing.
We were talking before, right? We were talking before we got on and pressed record. But I do want to say like, and this is such a good example of why I think as artists, like that's just one part of the humanity behind it, right? And sometimes like when people can speak from the heart as an artist to another artist, you never really know like the ripple effect. But there's actually two that I've got. Like there's two YouTube links of like Conductor Williams talking through some stuff, and I have it in a little folder on my desktop, and I have it labeled Conductor Williams Meditations. And the
Mm,
reason I have that is because like those two in particular, one of them is when he's talking about his favorite song he ever made, right?
mm,
And he really kind of also touches on process in a way that was very freeing to hear because I think a lot of us get in our own way, right?
mm,
And
mm,
we don't really let things come to us. There's almost like sometimes we'll create difficulties so that we can prove something to ourselves without forgetting that like we're trying to make a gift too. You know what I mean? So one of
Certainly.
them is about that. The other one is about balancing family, right? And work and aspiration and not losing the art, right? And that one, dude, like, I mean, I got chills the first time I watched it, probably watched it 6 times since then, but I've also sent it out to friends of mine to just remind them. It's like, no, man, like you can have it both. Like, don't let somebody tell you like it's over. Don't let somebody tell you you need to be
Hmm.
doing something different with your time. Like time is so precious, you know? So again, I just want to say like, that's one that I think we have in common, like big time, dude, like big
Very
time.
similar. And
So
I think that definitely resonates with a lot of, I mean, I hope it resonates with a lot of people nowadays, the aspect in the sense of like a blue collar person, right? Like somebody who
yeah,
has a family and who,
yeah,
he was a fucking train conductor. But now just like the sense of just like a real person, and like in their process. And that was really what
yeah,
appealed to me as well with him and just others. Yeah, nowadays, you see a lot of people um, with families and balancing that life out. I personally, I chose a different route. I've intentionally kind of never. I was married once, but like no kids.
yeah,
I'm not married. I kind of knew early on. I graduated high school at a young age and kind of just started. I've known for a long time I was going to be on a different road or whatever. So I prepared,
yeah.
in my own way for that. But still, it's balancing our own obstacles and our own things, and self sabotage is definitely one of those as far as not getting in our own way. Certainly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
loud and clear. Hey, my kids watch this show with me sometimes too, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, not everybody chooses to be a parent, okay? But
I
just because you
love it.
didn't choose it doesn't mean it's a bad route out there either,
I
okay?
love
Like
it.
I wouldn't do it any other way, but I'm not gonna mince any words. It wasn't a plan, okay?
Yeah, they're gonna clip that for sure. Yeah, they're gonna
we,
use
we
that
might
for
leave
sure.
that one in for posterity.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
um,
you, Kyle. Love you, Jake. Love you, Toby.
uh, so I think I asked you this in the written interview. It was how would you define your style? And you had said like, I don't know, you could pick out how you want to describe it or something like that. So I'm going to change this
Yeah,
up a little bit this time. I'm going to
yeah,
say, how would you define your process?
Hmm.
for sure. Oh, instinctive, I would say. I really I don't overthink things, and I think it's years of really just listening to music in a way that wasn't analytical,
Hmm.
that was just absorbing music, from my grandmother and my mother, and in different formats and in different environments. Um, and so when I do sit down and I'm combing through some samples or records or whatever, um, I just I just hear it. You know what I mean? It's not like
Oh yeah.
it really is kind of difficult to like kind of put down. But I was thinking of starting to. I've had some people ask me about that. They're like, "Man, you put out so much shit. Like, what do you do or how do you do it?" And I mean, it's really just me sitting here, as if I'm just doing it. You know what I mean? It's just a couple minutes or a few minutes, um, because it's just like I'm sitting down and finishing something that's already halfway done. It feels like just kind of putting the last pieces together, really. So yeah, and I don't have any gear really.
Yeah.
I have my laptop and I do have my SP, which I use just for like the physicality of it. Um, but otherwise, yeah, like Madlib was saying, he made what half of his last records on an iPad.
Yeah, on an iPad.
I
Yep,
mean,
yep. And
talk about inspiring,
It,
right?
what's
it's
funny
not
is,
what you have, it's what you got inside and right
I
that you got to
mean,
get out.
yeah, yeah. I was the same thing with writing. You know what I mean? Like I had teachers and professors telling me things, and it was just a notebook and a pencil, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's always been very simple to me. It's just, yeah, it's just the medium and the tools can be fun for sure. I had friends that went to like wholesale and they're audio engineers. Like, my mother was, you know what I mean? Like into all that. And like, there's an aspect of that I find important, the technical side. And there's a balance to that for sure. Listening to my early shit, I definitely, definitely know that. Um, but mostly it's just getting out what's already there, kind of just brushing the dust off something, especially all these old records. I mean, they're perfect.
I wanted to add that like that Mad Lib thing dropped, and like he'd said he'd been doing it for the last couple years, and I swear to
Right.
God, for the last couple years, there's people that were buying 303s because they wanted to sound like Mad Lib because that was the old
Right.
news. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
and
funny,
I
and he
think,
said it in such a
yeah,
casual way too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it
He's like,
wasn't
yeah,
like a
yeah,
big.
yeah.
He was like, yeah, like yeah, I've been doing that. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just that
I
was really his
I've made some
nonchalance.
of my favorite stuff. I don't want to say best. I don't know best, right? But I made some of my favorite stuff on Koala on my phone because I was waiting for my kids to finish basketball practice, and like that's what was in my hand. You know what I mean? So it's like
Exactly.
I think inspiration is going to trump all of it, and I guess like Dustin's probably something all three of us would agree with here, and that is to say that like you know can something sound better than something else? Can something sound more pro than something else? Okay, but that's not going to matter as much as when inspiration strikes, can you capture that, right? Can you take that moment
Right.
and make that into that, right?
And it really depends on the intention ultimately. Like,
Mm,
how polished you want it, how, who you sharing it with. You know what I mean? Like, are
sure,
you just posting on
sure.
SoundCloud? You don't really give a shit. Are you trying to like send this
Hmm.
out and share it with people? And, that's changed for
Exactly.
me over time as well, my intentions with that. But yeah, the koala thing, like the immediacy with which we're able to express ourselves nowadays, at a basketball game with your kids,
Beautiful.
like that's an
Yep.
energy you can't otherwise capture ever. You know what I mean? Like that, you pretty much were in a studio that was created like that. Fucking Peter Gabriel couldn't have imagined, 45 years ago,
Right. Right.
with his stone ass room and all his stuff. Um, but yeah, I found those things really inspiring as well, for sure, on my phone and little things like that. I do a lot of like audio recordings when I'm out and about and that kind of thing.
Dope.
All right.
Okay.
So this one kind of came to me earlier. I was driving down to help a friend. He's closing his ice cream shop. Uh,
Hmm.
we were starting to do a music studio thing for the community down
Ice
there,
cream
and
shop slash music studio.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was in the
Damn,
Come
that's the
on,
basement,
come on.
dream.
so yeah.
No,
So
but that's right.
you
Like,
go
yeah,
upstairs, get some ice
yeah.
cream.
That's the
No,
dream.
Hmm.
no, but unfortunately, had to go down there help him close up shop for now, temporarily. Uh, Driving down, I'm like, I should throw on some Owltree music. I was on Spotify, pulled it up, and I saw an album I didn't catch that you dropped, surprisingly, uh, Showcase of an Immortal. So
Yeah.
that
First
one,
things first. First things first. Album title 10 out of 10.
Oh,
Let's just
thanks.
go first
Yeah.
things first on that one. Yeah.
Thanks.
I called
Yeah.
Dave and I was like, oh man, you got to check this. And it's interesting because I didn't know who was rapping on it, right? Uh, so I went and I did a search once I stopped the car, not while driving, people. And eh, I saw that you had written that you wrote and produced the whole thing. And then
Yeah.
you fed your writing into an AI generation for the rapping. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. Ain't that something?
I
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
turned out really good.
Oh, thanks,
Like
man. Yeah, I did all that in house.
oh shit. Okay. Now I'm swearing. I think that's the first time I swore on this show.
What's up? Just blame it on the AI, dude. You didn't
You-
swear. It was the
You're
fucking
fucking it up for everybody, Dustin.
it was Gronk, dog, or whatever. Yeah, you do it, or Gronk or Gronkowski. I don't fucking know what the hell it is.
So I mean, like, why?
Yeah, it was really because I wanted to, obviously the past couple of years, especially in the music world with Timbaland and whatever that thing is called,
Hmm.
that he's messing with, Suno. It's been kind of bouncing around, and instead of criticizing something, I like to see what it's about, and the only way for me to see what something is about and how I learn is by doing. And so I wanted to just take it the whole way and see what I could do. I'd rapped before. I put out my album with my little raps and shit. And there's only a couple of those that I dug anyway. And so I thought, kind of just why not? And I mentioned it to Hus Kingpin, and to see what he thought. And then he was like, "Oh, you're on some Quasimodo shit." I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, okay, bet." So like that was really the stimulus to like actually fuck with it and do it. Because yeah, he's kind of I kind of looked to him, like conductor as well for some advice and some things like that. So if he would have been like, "Oh, that's on some corny shit," I probably would have did it still, but it wouldn't be on Spotify. I would have shared it with a couple people for sure. But and then I had the title, which was kind of like the inside joke with myself about the showcase of an immortal with, half of it or whatever. I mean, all the music production, all that stuff was the same. You know, I didn't do any of
Hmm.
that shit.
Hmm.
It was just, yeah, feeding it lyrics. Everything I was writing, and like I did some with my grandma's songs too, some of her country songs that I put
Okay.
out under the name of Cactus Walker. And there's a
Okay.
few of those, a couple of those out there that I'm still kind of working on. She, had hundreds of demos, so I'm kind of, have the idea for that. But ultimately, yeah, there's only one album for a reason. It didn't hit. It wasn't right. I like the independence of it. Like that's why I started making beats. But that's what I was saying about teamwork. Like there is the missing element is the human connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no replacing that.
I love how you expressed it though, man, because I've messed with it too, and I know it's kind of like a taboo thing right now, but like I guess for me, like I also remember like people thought Ableton was cheating, people thought quantizing beats was cheating, people thought
Yeah.
auto tune was cheating. There's
People
people
thought
out there
drum
that felt like
machines were cheating.
I
drum
was gonna
machines were cheating.
say, yeah, take it to that.
Photoshop is cheating. Unlimited
Yeah.
takes in Pro Tools is cheating, right? So I've just seen some, and by the way, I also think there's a danger in making a true equivocation because this is having a unique effect on society, right? Like on
Hmm.
economies and society. So I'm not also telling the people out there that are like wary of it or don't want to F with it at all. I'm not telling them that they're wrong. I'm just saying to me, it's a tool. And I wanted to see if I could find some inspiration from using the tool. And I
Hmm.
do think that there's ethical application. I also think that there's ways to augment things. And funny enough, one of the first things I did was take a song that a friend of mine had written that I think he had written incredibly well, but he hadn't written it for his voice, if that makes sense, right? So he's
Hmm.
a very talented vocalist, right? But he just hadn't written it for him in a way that I don't. And I tried everything to like, we recorded it, we worked on it. I felt like I was letting him down. And funny enough, I just kind of gave it to the machine almost like for validation that it was like, no, man, like this could be extended further. And again, it wasn't for release, but it was enlightening, and it would also, I think, inform decisions. If we wanted to give this song to somebody and work with somebody, we'd have a better sense of like what did and didn't work. So I'm just going to go ahead and go on record as saying like I think you can take a really cool thing and do whack shit with it. And if someone wants to say this is a whack thing, I'm going to put it back and say like that might be a lack of imagination. I mean, that's my take. You know what I mean? Like if you can't find a way to use this tool, cool, skip
Hmm.
it. You know what I mean? But I don't necessarily think it's on the tool.
I think that's a
Yep.
great take, and I don't want to get too far into an AI, ethical discussion
That
here,
it's
but
its
like,
own thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. But like, I, I think as long as you're still making music and you're not just having a machine make something to try and have a popular thing that's tied to your name loosely for no reason, right? Like,
Yep.
you put in that elbow grease and the hours to make it work. Like, I see nothing wrong with that. Like, and
Hmm.
Hmm.
back to the album because I wasn't talking about that just now, but I really liked it. So I don't know how I missed it because I've been trying to keep up with everything you're dropping, but man, you drop too much. Slow down a little bit, huh?
Uh, yeah, I know. I know, right? That's the goal, to just be in a place where I can fucking chill in the hammock. You know what I mean? Like I'm putting in the
By the
energy and
way,
the work now.
yeah, Brooks is the guy on the Chicago Bulls bench going like, Jordan, like tone it down, man. Too many
I know,
buckets.
right? I know.
Save
Shit.
some net for the rest of us.
I
Hell
know.
yeah. Hey, I got one up here that I think is the right time to talk about, man. And we asked this one a lot. Okay, so this is a repeat, but this is one that I think's really kind of the crux of getting these conversations going. So with relation to your art, right? How would you define success? Like how would you define that today? Has that changed over time? And has there been a point where you're like, okay, like this was the previous definition of success?
Oh, success to me has always been time, and the ability to control it in a way that
Mm,
free, in my own sense, and nothing too crazy. It's just really been time. I've had so many things in my life that have happened very suddenly, and it's just made me appreciate time, especially in a way more than fiscal interests and other things like that.
yeah.
It's time. time. So when yeah, that would be my idea of success, and it would be to wake up in the morning and decide what I would like to do with my time.
Right.
That's really it. I mean, I got bills to pay and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to just get a little. I used to live in Eugene, Oregon for quite some time. I used to hitchhike up to
Okay.
Seattle and back, and I just wanted to get a little fucking yurt or a little trailer
Yeah.
on some. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, my man, I see you. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a
actually,
Sharks
yeah,
fan though. My boss calls me a
I see
poser for
you.
wearing the Kraken stuff, but sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
That's dope. No, I used to do custom menswear in Chicago for a lot of the Blackhawks guys. So I hear
Okay.
you. But
Okay.
yeah, just time. So this year especially has been me working a lot, and since my mom passed, like just staying with my stepdad and just trying to like accrue some things, and so I can just have availability of time because
Understood.
yeah. So yeah, that would be my idea of success for sure. Would be time, and sharing time with others. For sure.
Dave, if you ever
Well
ask me,
said.
that's going to be my answer. I want to control
Okay.
my time.
So, like, in other words, like, you want dominion over your time, right? You know what I mean? I really think, yeah, I think that's the dream of most human beings on the planet. So I think that was said with clarity and honesty, man. I appreciate that response.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad because that's certainly something I think at a lot of our core, right? We're always trying to search for, that thing, that homesick kind of feeling, being a tourist
Yeah.
in our own hometown, we're trying to find it. And yeah,
Yeah.
still
I mean,
always am
if
every day.
somebody said $1 million, it's like to do what with? It's like to do anything I want with. It's
Yeah.
like, well, that's what he said.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
Is there one piece of your art that you would say is maybe more recognized than others? And then also, is that your favorite piece?
Hmm. Oh, what would be recognized? But I would probably say it's been some Rock Marciano and Stove God remixes I did. I put out an album called The Big Combo. Um, and that definitely sort of like people have begun to like I guess associate me in a way with like ST Neck and
mm,
Stove God and Rock
hmm.
Marciano, and I say associate me in the most distant way because I do not know those kings, but
Yet,
just as far as
yet.
like kind of the aesthetic of yeah, appreciate you, yeah, well next year
Hmm.
we'll see, right? But just the aesthetic, that element, it kind of worked. And then also I did an MF Doom remix record maybe like last year or 2 years ago that Conductor fucked with, and that was nice, the Midas touch kind of thing, you know what I mean? So I was really honored by that as well. Um, but yeah, as
But
far
would
as like
are those your favorites?
exactly, yeah, no, it's not like it's not me dodging the question. It's actually me kind of discovering it as I say it. I don't have any. As soon as I finish these, and it's at such a pace too, I'm on to the next thing. Like I don't go back and
Yeah.
listen to any of this stuff.
Oh, wow.
I really don't. The only time I go back and listen to maybe clips and things is when I'm creating a beat pack to send to somebody,
Hmm.
Mm,
just so I can make sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
have an idea, I have a decent memory, so like I can kind of recognize the titles and this and that, but I don't like, I just kind of move on,
Okay.
but so they sit there and,
So you're not like bouncing them down, going in your car the next day, throwing them in, like,
no,
okay.
no, that's another reason I quit rapping too, is because I was doing that when I was rapping. I was literally doing that. I'd go out to my car in Edgewater in Chicago. I'd sit in a little SUV in the road and I would just listen. And it was never good enough, because it's my fucking voice, right? And it's never gonna make sense.
universal.
Yeah,
Universal.
exactly. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
couldn't get past it, so it was
Like
just
I
having
imagine like Rock This Monster from Helter Skelter. His friends are like, "No, it's fine, man. It's good. It's good. You sound cool." Like I don't know who it is out there that loves their own voice, right? I don't know.
Rod
There's
Stewart.
got to be somebody.
Drake.
Rod
Okay.
Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah. I read an interview once where Rod Stewart was just like they asked him who his favorite singer was, and he was just like me. And I was just like, respect, I was
Yo,
just like, yeah,
if
like that makes sense. Smooth segue into Husk Kingpin,
there we go.
because that was really one of the ways I first learned about him was his Portis Huss records, his Bjork
Mm,
thing,
yeah.
where
They
he
just
did the
dropped the
Bjork.
second, right?
Yeah, I got four records on the second one.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's on my playlist right now, so I'm gonna get to it that much quicker.
yeah, man. Yeah, I got four
Yeah.
records. One actually, so that actually the song that's kind of blowing up or whatever. That sounds fucking weird. No, it ain't blowing up. A number of people are kind of thinking it's okay, right? Like fucking
Yeah,
blowing
yeah.
up. I'm not fucking
It's
Beyonce.
it's it's
Um,
popping off. It's popping off.
yeah, right. But no, like in featuring Aaron Veal, this song called Elysium, off
Mm.
that record has been kind of like getting some play, and it turned out really, really good. Yeah, he's a great MC. He was on like on the radar not too long back. He had a little feature on there, and but yeah, like it was a Huss's records, like him taking those things, because my interests, like I don't listen to that much too much rap, honestly, so like when he was, fucking with Portishead and Bjork, I
Hmm.
was the kid at the fucking Radiohead concert at Bonnaroo or whatever, just to go, just you know what I mean,
Yeah,
like so.
yeah.
It was, but I was always into hip hop, always. That was always
Hmm.
my like my heart, like that was always what was home to me, was Elevators, You and Me, and you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and so he was kind of really just like introduced me to a bridge, and it was fucking raw, and it was grimy, and it was honest. And he continues to be a huge inspiration. And then
Did
connecting with him ultimately was crazy.
did you do Bolivian Janine? Is that you?
No, I the first one I did
Okay.
with Huss was Halloween Huss.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, he just found me on Instagram. I was making beats in real time to Joe Bob Briggs at the drive-in, this horror movie kind of drive-in show. And I was making them.
I thought it was the band. I thought it was at the drive-in the band, man, because we've done
Oh
enough like indie rock bands,
shit,
and I just thought,
definitely.
okay, so keep going.
Nah, yeah,
Yeah.
nah, it was like a mutant family marathon, this fucking
Okay.
Shutter film thing. And I was making, I was just making beats to movies that were playing, and I made one to this film called Demons 2 and posted it, and he was just like, I mean, he was as simple as I fuck with this, can I use it for an album? And I mean,
Yeah.
learning, yeah, that was it. I mean, that was it
Yeah.
really. And but he's such a genuine person, like and such a curator. I've met
Mm.
people through him and other people he's put on through his records. He has, no
Hmm.
reason. He's put me on, I think his last, or not his last, but like I think 4 or 5 records so far, like and featured me, like in a way which I don't really deserve at all. Like I have no clout. I have no reason to take up the space on his albums, but he continues to over the years be with me, and I'll always be forever grateful. But he's got immaculate taste. He has great taste, not just because he fucks with me, but
All right, man.
just
All right, no, no,
just
I gotta say this. I hear the humility. I hear the humility, and I know that's important to stay there, right, for clarity, okay? But I just want to say the man has immaculate taste, which is why you're on that shit. So I get
I
to say
I
that you don't have to,
I,
man. I'll say it
I
for you.
appreciate it. And there was a certain degree of validation for sure, right? Because he was somebody I genuinely Gunpowder, and I could go on with his records, that influenced me, and then to be able to like converse with him and have a relationship in that way is continues to inspire me every day for sure.
Well, and he's getting
Hey,
a lot more
Brooks.
shine too, right? Like he's making people's lists and
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
Yep.
the rising tide lifts all boats, right? So, hopefully that means
Yeah,
good
man.
things for you as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope so. And he's certainly, people that know, he deserves it, because he's been doing his thing for years. Makami, Rosewood, I mean, the
Hmm.
original kind of Griselda clicks. Like he's been at the
Hmm.
foundation since, the fucking foundation of this sort of like, reintroduced version of kind of like, boom bap sort of whatever this thing is, or whatever it
Mhm.
was, I guess more so, maybe 6 to 8 years ago when Flag God and a lot of those things were really, taking over. But yeah, he continues to be dynamic and prolific as well. I mean, always, and he's a hustler, and yeah, I always look forward to getting that message from him. Like, yo, I need some work. I'm like, I couldn't be more ready.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my
You're
vault
ready.
is
You're
my
ready.
vault is
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
You're like,
fucking
I've made a couple since last time we talked. Right.
yeah, yeah, and I make custom shit for people, on the spot. You know what I mean? I'll put out
Yeah.
a pack for a couple folks I got right now that they'll hit me up. My guy St. Millie in Chicago, he'll hit me up at like 3 in the morning. I'm in the studio, and I'm like, oh, I got you always available for that. You always have to be, right? You always have to be kind of ready and willing to adapt and arrange yourself in a way that's vulnerable and open to change. And
Cool. So, um, obviously, having you on, lots of good answers. Before we get into the second favorite part of the game or part of the show, do you have any releases coming up that you're looking to promote?
yeah, so I got some work that should be coming out 2026, early to mid with Narconomics. So a few people kind of in that collective, Gustavo Luis and the likes that are super talented and prolific, and they're always out there working. And Rebel Sky, another artist who I'm really looking forward to hearing what he does with my work. And Gunk, who also goes by Teal sometimes, but Gunk,
Hmm.
he's been around for a minute. He's been kind of a sleeper, and the records that I have with him are the ones that, if I'm honest, like are really gonna change what we're doing next year for sure. Um,
Okay.
you feel like you're kind of sitting on something and
Yeah.
pause. Oh, cut that out, God Almighty! I was watching Cameron and fucking what's his face, uh, fucking Mace, and they're always on that shit. And I think it's just like the dynamic is just like in my head now because they're always saying pause. I'm like some dumb
Yeah.
shit. I remember Jack Harlow one time. He said resume, and I thought that was pretty clever. I was like, all right, resume. But that's honestly what I'm probably most excited about. And again, talk about like, blue collar. He's a family man. He's on
Mm.
winter break with his kids.
Hmm.
And we'll
Mhm.
get back to it when they're in school. And I fucking love that, the energy behind that. It's like it's not we're trying to get it out and the cycle, and this and that and this per. It's like when the kids are back in school, we can do it. It'll get out. Like I love that.
When the time
So
is right, it's
yeah.
going to be the right time. Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm looking, and
Hmm.
then the our conductor union, we have some projects coming out. We just put out a Carrie tape not too long ago. We redid the soundtrack to Carrie,
Mm.
the 1970s version. We put that out
Okay.
for free, and then we got a holiday union conductor union kind of group album coming out also this
Okay.
season. So yeah, we're gonna start submitting for that pretty soon.
That's sick. Okay.
Nice. Well,
Hell yeah.
it's time for us to play our second favorite game, a game that we call Second Favorite.
Yeah. And I always like to say we should have called it ultimate penultimate, but that's its own thing.
So it's the game, of course, where we're going to ask you some rapid fire questions, where the only rule is you can't tell us your favorite thing.
Just
So,
don't tell us.
yeah. You ready to go?
I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
All right. So, second favorite song name you've come up with.
Sherborne Boulevard.
Okay. Second favorite city in the United States.
Mm, Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Hold up. That deserves a why.
Oh, I lived there for a spell. I've lived all over the country, but
Yeah.
I was there for a little while working in a deli, and I just had a really nice little summer and a half there, and it always left a good impression on me.
Okay.
Had a
It's
good
like a
time. It was
combination
yeah,
of like big-ish city, college town kind of combo, right? Is that a fair
yeah,
description?
yeah, and I think it was just where I was at time and age where it was like inclusive in a way I hadn't been familiar with growing up in rural parts of Indiana, and my
Mm,
friend was going to school for music there, and it was just it was a good time. Yeah, it was a nice little
heck
spot.
yeah.
Saw a lot of great bands
Heck yeah.
there, a lot of
I've
concerts. Yeah.
heard good stuff about it. I haven't been. This one guy was like telling me how much I would like it and everything, and he was like totally selling me on like how good it was. He's like, "We call it Mad City." And I was like, "Well, you lost me there, man. You lost me there." But
Uh,
I liked all of it before
uh yeah, same.
this.
Second favorite movie.
March of the Wooden Soldiers, Laurel and Hardy. Yeah, I would say that's my second favorite. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but yeah, it's
I,
just great.
I didn't have it on my bingo card, I'll tell you that.
Oh, it's been released under multiple names throughout the years. One of them was Babes in Toyland, which was remade in the
Okay.
'90s with I think Keanu Reeves and Drew Barrymore. But yeah, the original it's just really great. It takes place in kind of a Mother Goose type world, but it's like live action and Three Little Pigs and the like. It's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. Favorite musician when you were a kid?
Oh, fuck me. Trent Reznor.
All right, all right.
Yeah,
That might have
Trent
been my
Reznor.
fault.
Yeah,
That
Dave
might
did
have been
that
my
to
fault.
himself. Yeah,
Yeah, I know, right? I don't even know where they at. I was just like, yeah, yeah, Trent Reznor for sure. I had the soundtrack to The Crow was the first music purchase, and my
Mhm.
mom was really into industrial music, Ministry
Hmm.
and things,
Okay.
and so yeah, Trent Reznor, huge influence when I was a kid. Still, still is. Yeah.
That original Crow soundtrack,
Oh,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
Judgment
Mm.
Night and Singles are like more representative of a couple years than like I don't do soundtracks even do that anymore? I don't really like maybe I'm too old to
Mm.
notice, right? But I felt like there was a time at which like a soundtrack was like a way to have like a dope ass compilation at the same time.
Hmm.
And like
Oh
that's an
yeah.
example of one that like, yeah, it had an impact on the culture for sure.
Yeah, well, interesting too in the sense that you mentioned singles is because Smashing Pumpkins only released that song "Drown"
Right?
on that album. So like even when bands were I mean, they did years later on in the airplanes, or
Hmm.
whatever. But like, but just to have that kind of thinking, right, to make a song, in that sense. So yeah, The
Hmm.
Crow. Yeah. Oh, too good, too good.
Hmm. Second favorite pizza place.
Oh, GGO's under the Red Line tracks, the Wilson location in Chicago for sure. Second
Okay.
favorite because it's just too greasy sometimes, so it can't earn it. But it's definitely there for sure under the tracks.
Under the tracks. All right, I'm
Under the
gonna have to
tracks.
Silver
check that
medal in
out.
the pizza category. You know what I mean? You got to figure
Oh
that's a banger anyway. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's a
yeah. I'm not very.
Chicago pie, so I mean, second best. Like, it's got to be good.
Oh yeah, and I hate. I do not like Chicago pizza. All the years I lived there. Yeah, like GGO's is more like the folded New York slice. I don't like the
Oh,
casserole with the fork and the
the
you
deep
know
dish with the it takes an hour to cook
No,
it.
man.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't have time. I eat to live. I don't live to eat. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
give
I'm
me
on the
that
move.
10-minute thin slice, right?
Yeah, let me get the pierogi to go, whatever. Yeah.
I'm reminded now that Brooks and I really aren't the best YouTubers in the world because I think before this we were supposed to say, "Hey everybody, make sure to leave a comment saying something that you'd like us to ask on an upcoming episode during Second Favorite." And I'm remembering that now because Erica Chamberlain was nice enough to suggest one in the comments for the last one. So here's Erica's, okay? Dustin, you got to make this one count. Your
Do it.
second favorite smell.
Oh, it's the I don't know how to describe it necessarily, but it's like Play-Doh. It's like the smell of like
Yeah.
arts and crafts when you were in kindergarten or some shit.
Mm,
Hmm.
It's that kind of smell of
Okay.
like
mm.
balsa wood and Elmer's glue and Play-Doh. Like that kind of fucking, it's like almost an industrial type smell. Yeah, maybe the cousin of gasoline or something.
Okay.
But
Mm.
yeah, I would say that would be it.
Okay. Second favorite album cover.
Of anybody's, doesn't have to be you.
Go Ted Soup,
Okay.
Rolling Stones.
Hmm.
It's just
Second
it's
favorite.
very alarming.
Oh,
It's very
Oh, that's it. It's
alarming.
alarming. Yeah, it's just very alarming.
second favorite comedian.
Carl Pilkington.
Did you say Carl Pilkington?
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, like kids, if you don't know where podcasts came from, I'm not
that's what I'm
saying they
saying.
invented it. I'm not saying they invented it, but I'm just saying like the first time it mattered, right? Carl
Yeah,
Pilkington. Like, do your Googles. Do your Googles. Yeah.
enough said. You said it. Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. Second favorite present you've ever received.
A star. Like when you're a kid and you get those roll out, it's like, oh, somebody bought you a star that's part of this constellation and the coordinates of this and that.
Yeah.
Second favorite. Because then when you get older, you realize we're buying stars. You know what I'm saying? Like it was my first favorite for a long time until like I realized, Santa Claus wasn't real type shit. But
Yeah.
but
Hey,
yeah, second favorite for sure.
just wait until we get, light speed travel. You're gonna be like, I got the mineral rights, bitches.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah.
Second favorite mode of transportation.
Oh, I would say PTA. Yeah, I would definitely say being in Chicago for so long, I didn't have a car for years and years, and I love the L train. I love the elevated, but the bus can suck a dick. So that would be probably my second is when I think of those kind of things. Like it's just like being inside of a sweaty centipede that's like you're scared of, like Noah, almost like a whale, but like it's in
Yeah.
Chicago because the way it bends and it's like a worm or some shit. It's dirty,
I,
but I love it.
I haven't like been to a ton of places, but I know a lot of people that have, and know a lot of people in general, and I think everyone hates the bus.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. Nobody's out there on the Greyhound like this fucking rules. Like,
There's always that person sitting too close to you, and you don't know if it's an intentional or they just a fucking not even
Yeah.
aware of what's going on around them. But like,
Statistically, there are people that probably like the bus, and I'm gonna tell y'all ahead of time, stay away from them. Like,
oh
stay
yeah,
far away.
yeah.
that's
And
why I
everybody's
don't take the
excited.
bus.
You
No,
don't like the bus? I meet the most interesting people on the bus. No,
no.
not the right type of interesting, with all due respect.
It's all right. I
Uh-uh.
don't think bus riders are our prime demographic anyway. Uh,
Yeah.
second favorite board game.
Oh, um, uh, Catan.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, somebody was teaching me to play that the other night, and before that I play a lot of I only play chess. So like, but I hadn't learned a game other than that. So Catan I learned the other night, and that
Hey,
was
hey,
I
Dustin.
no.
Definitely isn't your favorite game, though, right?
Oh, that's the only game I know.
Frickin'.
No, it's all right. It's okay. Oh, oh shit. I'm dropping shit over here.
No.
You're not the
I'm
only
just
one.
like yeah, yeah. We're gonna keep it in. I'm just gonna go ahead and say I think that one's gonna get the record cut. Yeah. Favorite beverage.
Second.
Second favorite beverage.
Oh, Tropicana Pure Premium No Pulp orange juice. Yeah,
Specific. I dig
specifically,
it. I
it's got
dig
to
it.
be. Otherwise, it
Does it
don't
taste
matter.
like childhood?
Yeah, it tastes like visits to the dentist office after swishing it around and getting all the enamel fucking rinsed off from the acid, for sure.
Mint? Fuck it. I'm going for orange juice.
'Cause I didn't like the taste of water. It just didn't make sense. It tastes like I was swallowing air or something, and I didn't like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still don't care for it, but we're out here.
We are. Second favorite job you've had.
Damn. I worked at it was when I was in Eugene where I had a ton of jobs. And it was at a warehouse where we would go pick mushrooms in the forest and then we would come back and process them and bag them and, hawk them at grocery stores and things like that. Yeah.
It's a very Oregon thing to do for work.
Oh, it's like trimming weed, it's just like I've opened, dispensaries and things and it's like, yeah, it's pretty much that.
Also, yeah, no, it's yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Second favorite month.
September. Yeah, just because it's yeah, so it's
Oh,
yeah,
It's
we got
okay.
we,
It's okay.
we got to start that.
yeah.
You've been asking him his favorite. I mean, it's gonna come out in this one, man.
Yeah, the build
Uh,
up.
Hell yeah.
all right. Second favorite subject when you were in school.
At school. I would probably say desktop communications. I was of the age when like computer rooms were being introduced to schools as like an exciting thing. Like you had the buddy computer you would take home and shit. Um, uh, And it was fascinating. Yeah, otherwise one, but yeah, second one was definitely desktop publishing.
Also, if you haven't, please remember to like and subscribe, share with your friends, just like mushrooms and other things you can find in the forest.
All right.
Forge for your fucking content.
So, so Dustin, you've been, like I said, you've been giving us bangers, man. But this is that part of the show that's really yours, man. This is why we call it free game. If you got some free game that you can share with our audience, maybe something you've learned in your journey, maybe something that you wish you'd known sooner, right? Maybe something that you just feel like somebody would want to hear today. Like what have you got, man?
Well, I think like when we talked earlier about the accessibility um, that we have to create or express ourselves, I think it's almost not almost, but it is more important to really just like sit for a minute and contemplate your intention, and not in like a deep kind of way, but just like why the fuck are you doing it? Just for a second, not too long, because you can waste your time, trying, like when people try to, figure out the meaning of life their whole life instead of just living the damn thing. Like it's good to question for a moment, just to come at it with that kind of inquisitive energy. Um, so I would recommend that. I kind of wished I did that earlier on. I was doing it more out of a sense of urgency, it felt like, which is kind of what I do most of my things with because time is just too elusive to me. But and I would also encourage people, like I'm not a networker. I'm not good at social interactions and getting out there and doing things. But I will say that if you create from a place of like genuine excitement, like you're excited by it, like it's something you would listen to, um, you know, others will gravitate, and that's really the sweet spot. And like that's really what I'm most grateful for is, like what anyone is searching for is like a like-minded collective of people who can like share similar energies and thoughts and experiences and grow from within that. So I think creating from that similar place, it's going to attract a really good energy. And then from there, people do with it what they will, whether they want to explore in a financial way or, you know, I've been blessed to, meet people like us, and Conductor um, but you have to continue to grow within yourself, whatever that means. And I think for me personally too, taking my own advice and like, sitting back for a minute and not producing and not doing whatever, that's why I stopped writing because, recreation can turn into obligation really quick. It can
Mm.
happen in a way that's really subtle. So I would just say to slow down as well, because again, with creating, it all happens very quickly. Um, I would just say it all goes back to time. Take your time, appreciate your time, share your time with people, be grateful for your time and have fun. Like Conductor says, we just have fun.
Yeah,
Make sure you
Hell
enjoy
yeah,
yourself.
dude.
I appreciate you sharing your time with us. Uh,
Mm,
Thank you. It
Same.
was a great hour plus that we had with you here. Really hope we get to do it again. Uh,
yeah, definitely. I
I,
appreciate it as well. Thank y'all so much.
I think this was a
Man,
great session, and yeah, thank you.
I
Thank
totally
y'all.
agree, man. Dustin, this has been a real treat. And yeah, I wouldn't know a better way to change it or to close this one out except to say thank you for the time to everyone listening, right? And Dustin, yeah, may our paths cross again soon. Thanks, bud.
Likewise. Thank y'all so much. Be well.
Okay.
You know what we say here at Sort of Weird Artist Guild? The world is full of some pretty cool people. And if you
Yeah,
listen,
you might just get some free game.
thanks for watching, everyone.